We're back with another recap for another lesson, which is multiplying decimals by powers of 10. What are powers of 10? For example, here we have 10 to the power of 2. Power of 10 are all of the powers who have 10 as a base. For example, 10 to the power of 2, 10 to the power of 3, 10 to the power of 4, 10 to the power of 5. All of those are considered powers of 10 because they all have 10 as a base. Now, if I wanted to write 10 to the power of 2 in standard form using digits, how do I write it? First of all, I simply write 1 and look at the exponent of the power given. In this case, it's 2. Since in this case it's 2, we simply add next to the 1 two zeros. And there you have it. 10 to the power of 2 is 100. Let's take another example. 10 to the power of 3. I write 1 and then I look at the exponent, which is 3, and I add 3 zeros. And now I have 10 to the power 3 is 100. Now, if I wanted to multiply a decimal number by a power of 10, I can simply multiply it using the traditional way by putting them under each other. Let's try it. Multiplying 3.245 by 10 to the power of 2, which we just solved before, is 100. Let's multiply them together. We start with the first zero to the right. We multiply it by 5. Let's multiply 0 by 5. We get 0. Moving on to the 4. 0 multiplied by 4 gives me also 0. Now, same thing applies to the 2 and the 3. Multiplying 0 by 2 and 0 by 3 give me both of them 0. Let's move now to the second 0, which is in the 10th place. Since it is in the 10th place, we should not forget to add a 0 in the 1's place before we start multiplying. Now, since we have added the 0, we can start multiplying 0 by 5. 0 multiplied by 5 is basically 0. Now we can move to the 4. 0 multiplied by 4 gives me 0. Again, same goes for the 2 and the 3, and we can simply just put the two zeros. Now, finally, we can move to the 1. The 1 is in the hundreds place. So before we start multiplying, we have to add the zeros in the 1s and the 10s place and then begin to multiply. 1 multiplied by 5 gives me 5. 1 multiplied by 4 gives me 4. 1 multiplied by 2 gives me 2. And last but not least, 1 multiplied by 3 gives me 3. Now that I have them, I can simply add. Adding them all together, 324,500. However, we should not forget the decimal point. In order to know where to place the decimal point, we should count how many places after the decimal point do we have in this number. Here we have 3. So we have to look at the answer, which is 324,500, and count 3 places before placing the decimal point. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, and the decimal point goes here. So my answer is 324,500. So 3.245 multiplied by 10 to the power of 2 gives me 324,500. Since we're dealing with two zeros to the right after the decimal point, we can just remove them, and my answer will be 324.5. What if I told you there is a much easier way to solve this and a faster way? Instead of solving it using the traditional way and taking so much time, we can do it in a very simple way. First step, we look at the exponent. In this case, the exponent is 2. You can find the answer by simply making the decimal point jump to the right as many places as the exponent. Since in this case it's 2, we can simply move the decimal point 2 places to the right. Let's start moving it. 1 and 2, and I place the decimal point here. And I got my answer, which is 324.5. It took us only a couple of seconds to solve it this way. Very much easier than the traditional way that we solved before. Let's try another example. This time, instead of 2, we have to the power of 4. Let's start by moving the decimal point 4 places to the right. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, my decimal point goes here. But what do I do with this empty space? Yes, what I do is I add a 0. Now I have this. But I can't just place the decimal point like this alone. I can either remove it or add another 0 to the right. And now my answer would be 32,450.0. If I wanted to remove the decimal point and the 0, I could just have 32,450. And there you have it, a much easier and better way to solve multiplying any number, which is also a decimal number, by 10 or a power of 10. To check for your understanding, let's check the mini. Try solving it on your own. Calculate 14.25 multiplied by 10 to the power of 4. Remember, to calculate the product, you have to move the decimal point to the right as many places as the exponent of 10. Go ahead, solve it and write your answers in the comments below. Goodbye.